Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Before I continue on with this video, I want to thank you guys like I do in every single one of my videos. Thank you guys so much for subscribing, for liking, for commenting, for following me on any of my social medias and DMing me on my social medias. I appreciate every single one of you, and I wouldn't be accomplishing the goals that I had set for myself a long time ago if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart and the tip of my toes and the tip of my head. Thank you. Alright guys, so you might ask why I'm just chilling in my bed with my blanket and what this story time is about, but I still don't know what I'm going to name this story time. So this is a story that I've been wanting to film for quite some time. Actually, ever since I started my YouTube channel, I knew that I was going to share this story one day. And right now I feel like I'm at the perfect age and mindset to finally put this story out there for you guys. The reason I'm doing this is to raise awareness, basically. I know that there's a lot going on with Larry Nassar. I think that's his name. That's how you say it. If you guys don't know, it's about this doctor that molested these girls, especially some of the Olympian gymnasts, but mostly little girls that were under his care. He molested them, and now he's being put away for it about 30 years after he's already committed the crimes, I believe. I don't know too much about it. I did see a bunch of people's statements on it, but that's one of the reasons I decided that I wanted to share this story. Also because I had seen the hashtag Me Too going around Twitter about sexual assault, sexual harassment, and all of those things. So anyways, you guys might be thinking there's absolutely no way that this happened to you. There's no way that such a free spirit or a happy person could have gone through this and been perfectly fine now. So it actually did happen to me. I was molested when I was younger. I believe I was about 8 years old, and I think I was in 3rd grade when this happened, and I remember it like it was yesterday. And so I want to go ahead and put the story out there just to raise awareness, to be careful who you trust, to take care of your little sisters, your little brothers, and just to take care of yourself as a person. I know that it doesn't only happen to women, it happens to men as well. So I just want to raise awareness for all of you guys, just so you guys don't fall through these traps. So I have talked to my mom about this, and I told her that I was going to put this story out there, and we both decided that we're not going to let my little sisters or really my family watch this video. I know that it's going to happen, that there's people that are going to watch it. And if you're my family or my close friends and you're watching and you're not one of the friends that I have already told, then I'm okay. I promise I'm okay. There's nothing mentally ill with me. I'm not scarred by it. It happened so long ago that and I didn't know that it was happening when it was, but I know now what it is, and I know what I went through, and I know that I'm fine. I'm healthy. I'm perfectly fine. So my mom didn't find out about this until I was 16. She found out 8 years later, and we have decided also that I'm gonna keep a lot of details out of this video. Please be respectful. If you think you know it's someone, I promise it's no one that you guys know. Alright, so when I was in 3rd grade, I lived in a duplex with my mom, my dad, and my brother. And we had really nice neighbors, and then there were a ton of kids on my block that I was friends with. So we had a particular neighbor, and he had a wife, a daughter, a son, and a dog. And I thought that their family was perfect. They were the type that always had toys, always had a pool in the backyard, but one of those big like awesome pools you put on your yard. During summer they had like playgrounds, they had balls, and they were always playing, and they had cousins that would come over and play with them. So I categorized them as the perfect family. And my mom was friends with the wife, so I'm just gonna go by that, the man and the wife and the kid and the daughter. So anyways, my mom was friends with the wife, and that meant that she would go over sometimes to talk, and I would go over and play with the girl, the daughter, and the son, which was kind of mean to me, but it's fine. The daughter was kind of weird. She gave me those weird vibes. She wasn't like any other girl I've met. She wasn't like any other of my friends. She was way older than me, and we would always play dolls. She would do my nails, just like regular kid things, I guess you'd play. And so I met the father, and my dad and I have never had a close relationship. We've never been like, I've never been a daddy's girl. I've never just gone to him when I was sad or happy or stressed. It's never like, oh, give me a hug, like, you know, like, it's not a close relationship. Like, yeah, I love my dad and I respect him, but it was never a close relationship, and we still don't have one. So when I saw fathers having close relationships with their daughters, I was like taken back by it, because I was like, well, that's not the kind of relationship I have with my dad. But anyways, I thought that was pretty cool. He was really nice. He would always let us play with the toys and all of that. And so as my mom kept going over and over, I would always go over with her. And he started the grooming process. If you guys don't know what that is, let me look it up. Child grooming means befriending and establishing an emotional connection with the child and sometimes the family to lower the child's inhibitions with the objective of abuse. So yeah, he started the grooming process. He would always have candies ready for me when I went over. He would always let me have cookies. He would be really, really sweet to me. He would just like kind of pat me on the back, you know, like all these things that made me trust him, because obviously when you're little, you are told that you trust and respect adults because they are right in everything they do. Correct. So yeah, I was like, holy crap, like this guy is really, really nice. Your dad is the best. You must be so happy to have a dad like him, blah blah blah. So yeah, he started the grooming process. I'm pretty sure the grooming process went on for a while, so he can gain my trust and my mom's trust. Obviously, if I was saying, oh, I love the family, let's go over, my mom would go over, you know. So there was this one day, I remember it clearly because I was wearing one of my favorite outfits. So I was wearing my favorite outfit that my grandma actually had sent me from Mexico. It was a pink shirt with a pink skirt, like a mini skirt, but obviously pink pants under it. That's what she would wear in every one of the episodes, and she sent it to me, and I remember clearly I was wearing that exact outfit. I wasn't showing anything. The shirt was down to like up under my shoulders, and I wasn't showing anything because under the skirt there were like these big long pants, you know. So that's what I was wearing that day. We went over, and my mom sat in their living room, and I went to the back in the room with the girl, with the daughter, and we were playing. And I remember the dad called us into his room, and he sat me on his lap. The daughter and the son were in there with us, and he asked them to leave because he had to talk to me by myself, and I was sitting on his lap. I'm not going to go into detail for what he did for very specific reasons and very obvious reasons, but the thing is that I was sitting on his lap in his room. My mom was in the living room, and he asked both of the kids to leave and to go into their room. So there I am, just me in my cute little favorite outfit, sitting on this man's lap, wondering what the heck is he going to talk to me about that they can't be in here, obviously. So that's the day it happened. It only happened once that I can remember, and I never told my mom. I never spoke to anybody about it. So after that, I had a feeling in my heart that it wasn't right, that that's not what an adult should do to a child. But I was young, and I don't think that it clicked, and that I knew that it was wrong, and that I had to tell my mom. So I didn't tell her, and I didn't tell anybody, not my dad, not my brother, nobody, until there was this one time I was at recess with all my friends, and we were sitting down, and I remember we used to play this game where it's like, oh, if I'm gonna say something and if it happened to you, raise your hand. And we would be like, oh, I ate dirt. And well, we would always raise our hands. And then it was my turn to say something. And I remember I stood up in front of my friends. They were sitting on the floor. And I was like, raise your hand if a man has touched you before. And then they were all like, yeah, my dad hugs me, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no. And I told them. And they were kind of taken back by it. But as I said, we were really young. And it doesn't matter. Like, I probably said something like, if he's touched your private part, you know? And then there I am standing and raising my hand. And then someone giggled. And then everything just went quiet. And then someone said something else. And everything was just like, everyone forgot about it. But I remember there was this one specific girl. We'll name her Molly for the purpose of the video. And she actually moved after elementary school. But I think I caught her attention because I remember her mom was very aware of everything. And she would really educate her to be careful and to not trust people. And she told me, you need to talk to someone about that. And then I was like, yeah, I will. I already told my mom, you know? So I lied to her. And that's it. That's what happened. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell the counselor. I didn't tell my dad. I don't know. I was really young and I didn't know much about the world then. Not that I do now. But I have the chills. So yeah, I was young and I didn't know much about the world, and it didn't click to me that I had to tell someone. And I don't know if it was more of I was embarrassed and I was like, that shouldn't have happened to me. I had a very weird feeling in my heart, that's for sure. So that's what happened. I didn't tell anybody, but I was 8. I was a 3rd grader, and this man somehow saw something in me where I would wear outfits that always covered everything. If I wore shorts, I wore those shorts that went under your knee. So that's why even now I'm like, what could he have possibly seen in me that he chose me out of every other kid in the neighborhood or every other girl that played with his daughter? But anyways, I know after that I refused to ever go back to their house, and my mom was taken back by it because I would always be the first out the door. So I refused to go out to their house. I refused to talk to them. I refused to do anything. And I know that I would always hint at my friends. My friends would come over and he would be out on his lawn and he would look at me, and I would tell my friends like, oh, that man is so creepy. Like, oh, I don't like him. He's mean. And my friends were always like, okay, like, you have no reason. But I would always give out those hints. I remember I told my bestest friend, and I told my other best friend that was my best friend at the time what had happened to me. And they had told me if I had told my parents, if we had done anything about it, if he had gone to jail or do anything like that. But I didn't. I feel like if I would say something now, people would think that I was definitely making it up. Till this day, I see him. He goes to church, and I ran into him a couple of times at the store. And so I remember there was this one time when I was younger, I used to go to a youth group every Thursday. I was never absent. I was always there because I loved youth group, and I loved everyone that went there, and it was just a place that made me feel like home. So I would go to youth group every Thursday at 7 p.m. And I remember there's these Thursdays where we would go into confession. We would go into like the church room, and we would all just praise the Lord, and then people one by one would go into confession. And I remember there was this one time I was really sad, and it was when I was 16. I was really sad, and I was going to youth group, and I had decided that I was going to tell my mom. I don't know what I can't remember exactly what sparked it, but I was like, it's time, I'm telling my mom. So at youth group, it was confession day. We were praising the Lord, and I was crying because I was scared, and I knew it was my turn to go into confession. And in confession, you know that there's a chair in front of the priest, and there's a little like what is it, like a drape, and you can sit like behind the drape so you don't directly see him, but you can still hear him and talk to him. And I'm always the type to sit right in front of him. I don't know why, I've always done that. So I went in and I sat in front of the priest, and I had been crying, and he told me, you know, basically what they tell you in confession. And then he said, confess your sins. And I was crying, and I was like, this isn't my sin. Not that I don't view it as my sin. But I told him, I was like, there's this man that did this to me when I was a child. And I said, I feel the need to confess it for him, because he probably needs to be forgiven, and I forgive him. I basically went in to confession to confess what he had done to me, and I told the priest that I forgave him. And the priest obviously tried to comfort me, and I remember I went back out and we were still praising the Lord. So I was singing and I was praying, and I said, tonight's the night I'm going to tell my mom. So I remember I got home and I sat down, and my mom would always come into my room after youth group and just like ask me how it went, because I would get home like at 8:30, I think. And she sat down and I told her, I was like, Mom, I was like, for a very long time I thought that I had dreamt this. I was like, that's why I don't think I ever told anyone, because I thought that I had dreamt it. But I think that my mind had secretly told me to convince myself it was a dream. Now I know it's not a dream, because every time I see that man, it's those weird vibes. And I know that I had seen nothing in relation, or heard anything in relation to that when I was that age. So I was like, I know it's not a dream, but I tried to convince myself that it was a dream. And that's why I hadn't told anybody. And then I told her what happened, and I told her the name of the man, and I told her everything, detail for detail, word for word, as I remembered what happened. And she was heartbroken. She was sad. She cried. She asked me why I didn't tell her. She asked me why I didn't do anything about it. She had always planted that trust in my heart that I could tell her everything, why I didn't tell her. And I told her because I didn't think that anyone would believe me. I thought it was embarrassing. I thought that shouldn't have happened to me. And I tried to convince myself it was a dream. And so I told her, and I was 16. It was 8 years later. I told her, there's nothing we can do. It's not your fault. It's no one's fault. Don't tell my dad. Don't do this. Don't do that. So that's what I told her. And my mom now knows, and I'm pretty sure nobody else knows. I wanted to put this video out there just for awareness. I just want to raise awareness that this is happening to other children and women and men, and to be careful to not fall into the grooming process. If you think that something's wrong, then tell somebody. Tell your mom or any adult that you trust. If you're not comfortable around someone, if you don't think that they're doing something right, then try not to be alone with them whatsoever. If they try to get you alone, please try your best not to. I know that there's sometimes these little children that have absolutely no way of running away from it, but as I said, it wasn't a stranger. It was someone very close to us, a close family friend, someone that I thought I could trust, someone that my mom probably trusted. So it's like that. It's not a stranger's gonna kidnap you and rape you. There's gonna be someone close to your family that is going to groom you, manipulate you, build trust with you, and hurt you. And that's what he did to me. But I'm 19. I'm turning 20 this year. I'm healthy. I'm happy. It didn't scar me. It's not something I'm like, oh, if that hadn't happened, then I would have done this and this. It didn't scar me. It didn't ruin my life. It didn't make me hate people. It didn't change me as a person. It hurts. Yeah, it hurts talking about it. It hurts knowing that an adult could do that to a child. But it's also something you can't control. If you can't control it, then you can't control it. If you don't talk about it, you have no help. He's a family man. He goes to church, and I've seen him at church. I ran into him at stores. And for a very long time after it happened, he actually would stare at me, and he would ask my parents, or he would ask my mom why I don't come over and play anymore. And then after that, I just grew a huge hate for him and his family without them having to do anything with it. And my mom didn't understand why I didn't like them anymore, but I didn't. So yeah, obviously I've been forced to see him in public. I've been forced to see him at church. I've been forced to live with this, and with him and I knowing what happened. But it's fine. I'm fine. I promise you guys, I'm perfectly fine. I'm healthy. I'm here. I'm living with it. It sucks knowing that it happened to me at such a young age, and that it's happening to other children across the world. And it sucks knowing that there's adults out there that do it to children when they are so innocent and they don't know what's going on, and they know that grooming is the key to everything, and that they won't tell their parents because they trust them. So that's what happened, guys. Honestly, obviously when I talk about it with my mom, she's still heartbroken, because I didn't do anything about it then. We can't do anything about it now. He's just living with it, and I have to live with it, and I have to see him, and I have to interact with him. And I just hope that he changed his ways. I hope that he found God, and that God helped him stop doing what he was doing. I hope that I was the only child that he did it to. I really do. But I'm fine. I promise. I know there's people out there that are watching my video and that probably went through the same situation with me and never told anybody about what happened, but I'm here and I would believe you. And I know that there's adults out there that wouldn't want to believe you because they're so naive and they think that things like that can't happen to someone you know, but I believe you, and you're strong, and I'm happy that you're strong and that you dealt with it on your own because you couldn't tell anybody else. Thank you guys for watching this video. I know it's hard, but it happens, and it can happen to someone that you know. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for supporting me. If you guys leave nice comments, thank you. If you're gonna say something mean, don't say it at all, please. If you're my close friend, if you're family, don't try to pin it on someone. I know that none of you know who this guy is. He's irrelevant. Even his children are irrelevant because no one knows them. Thank you guys in advance for your sweet comments. I appreciate you. Stay aware of everything. Don't trust everyone because not everyone has a good intention. I know this was a very crazy video. I know it was kind of sad. I know it was kind of down the deep road, but I'm okay. I promise you guys 100% I'm okay. Anyways, there's where I'm gonna end it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Comment any video ideas you want to see. There's more story times to come. I tweeted the other day that there's a lot to my story, and I hope that I can slowly but surely share it with you guys just to motivate you and tell you that you're not stuck where you are right now. If you work hard and if you trust in God and if you pray a lot, you're gonna get out of it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video, and please always remember, God goes glowing and growing.